with this level of anxiety. And a lot of anxiety with the animals is because they're trying to manage the anxiety of their humans.
I've seen it. I have lived. Hello, and welcome back to all my wonderful Courage, Confidence, Connections podcast fans. I'm Janice Debo, your host. My guest today is Sofia Rïsberg, and I had to ask so I didn't butcher her name. I don't like that. And if I have, nobody ever seems to be offended. How are you doing?
I'm well, how are you?
Doing great, doing great. Enjoying some cooler weather here in Central Oregon right now. So that's nice.
That is a beautiful gift.
Yep. And you're up in Oregon, but you move around or you
I'm
travel.
currently in Ashland. And I love, well, I mean, I love Oregon. There's so many different magical places here, so
There
it's a
are.
gift to be able to travel around and
Yes. Ashland is beautiful. I've been there a couple times.
yeah.
Yep. So I did like it. It's a nice small community.
Mm-hmm. And
And-
much easier to navigate than Bend.
Oh yeah, let's don't even get down that road. Oh, Bend has a life and a stigma of its own. So
Yeah.
no offense if anybody lives in Bend that watches this. No offense.
No offense at all. It's challenging to navigate sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't made it any easier. Okay. So let's get on to, I want to start with what you do right now, and then I'm going to back up and get the backstory on it. That's what I like to do.
Sure. So currently, what I do is I help animals and their humans with energy work and a whole bunch of different technologies that I have access to help with trauma and anxiety. Because we're living in the United States, we're living on this planet, we have trauma and anxiety. Um, and I'm able to communicate with animals. The modality I use is called body talk, which is chiropractic, traditional Chinese medicine, kinesiology, Reiki, a little Aboriginal Australian, and a couple other modalities combined. And I've been intuitive my whole life and very sensitive. So the animals have always talked to me. I just didn't realize that I could talk back to them. So, yeah.
Oh, that is great. What's the movie that's so famous that he used to talk to he talked to animals? Doc,
Dr. Doolittle?
Dr. Doolittle. So
Yeah.
you're Mrs. Doolittle.
Yeah.
Ms. Doolittle. Dr. Mrs. Anyway, but I think it's fascinating, and we're going to let our audience find out more about just how exactly, not exactly necessarily, but how that works. And no,
Yeah.
no demonstrations because I don't have any pets right now, so we
That's
can't.
okay because I don't really want to.
Okay.
But
Okay.
so basically, I've been sensitive my whole life. Like I can feel animals, I can feel objects, I can feel like when high school was a nightmare because all of the people that went through high school, I felt all of their energies in the objects, like the desks and everything. So I pretty like very, very sensitive and I didn't know it when I was little, so I just shut down.
Hmm.
And developed the beautiful gift of hypervigilance,
Oh,
um, which I'm still finding layers and layers of because it's just a thing. Like that's one of the more challenging ones to get all of the layers to. But in 2009, my dad died, and I felt his soul leave his body and fly across the universe. And I had been an historian. I gave that, like, I just was like, okay, I don't know anything. And I started doing a deep dive into spirituality and figuring out who I really am. Fast forward to 2020, I do a research job. I'm celebrating clear cutting in Oregon. I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. So I was, after receiving this modality, I started taking classes in it. And after the fifth class, the animals who I'd been talking to since I was little came back into my awareness and they were like, okay, now you're ready to work with us. I'm like, what does that mean? So I get crazy conversations. My favorite is a sheep in England who was going to be put down
oh,
because she started going lame. And over the session, she like usually I do everything remotely. That's my comfort zone.
mhm.
So the sheep, I asked for pictures, and I'm like, okay, that's my comfort zone. Like I look at the picture and I can tune into the frequency. A sheep comes into my heart space before I get a picture. I'm like, what is this? Because I felt something. And she starts walking me through the system. And over the course of the session, I found out that her brother died.
Oh,
And in Chinese medicine, every body part carries trauma, like different energies, trauma and positive things. And her right elbow was carrying heartbreak. So she was limp because her brother died, and that heartbreak was stuck in her elbow.
oh,
So we deactivated it, and within a week she was walking again.
oh, wow. Well, we know from energy work that um our issues, our tissues can have issues, for lack of a better phrase,
Yeah.
and we do carry it trauma in our body.
Hmm.
I've experienced it, and I have had a lot of energy work done with me. Matter of fact, had a sound healing yesterday. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah, yeah, that was really good. It's fascinating to me. Now, do you speak with the animals who have passed and crossed over?
They started to, yeah, which is really fascinating because like I'm just like, okay, whatever wants to come through, let it happen. And so a couple months ago, one of my friends said, "Hey, can you talk to my cat? He just transitioned." I'm like, "Well, I'll see because I'm not going to make any promises." He was like having a conversation. I'm like, "Well, that makes sense because it's all energy,
Hmm.
but it's my comfort level of like, what do I feel okay with talking? Like, what do I feel like opening up? Because I don't want animals waking me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and having a conversation with me. So,
Yeah, like cats especially. They run around at 2 o'clock in the morning. So,
yeah.
oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we might have to talk about that off camera.
Yeah.
But I think it's absolutely fascinating because a lot of people dismiss energy work. However, we know from our studies that we are, what is it, 99.9999% energy? Is that about right?
Just about right. Yeah. And we're just slowed down into this density. So we think
We,
that we're the density, but we're so much more than that.
yes.
And how I describe myself actually is like, I am a spirit in a body that wishes to express itself through me because I have so many different things I love to do
Hmm.
that me being that expression, like yesterday, I just got a flour mill so I could mill my own flour. Messy as heck, but boy, did it bring me joy. So whatever brings me joy is what my soul wishes to express through me. And it's a different way of approaching life than how we've been taught,
Yes.
but it works for me. So
Well, it's very true, and I've experienced quantum healing. I'm working with someone who's doing that for me, and it was an amazing experience.
yeah,
I just laid there and she did her thing, but she channels. And a lot of people, okay, well, I was raised in religion. I was really, and a lot of the stuff I was taught was evil. And of course, I got over that real
yeah.
quick in the last few years. I'm like, boy, was I lied to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because we're taught that we're just this. We're not multidimensional beings, but
Right.
when we start to slow down, I mean, if I can hear an animal talk to me,
Mhm.
I'm not special. I'm just sensitive. That's the only difference. Is like I've always been sensitive and I finally embraced the fact that I'm ridiculously sensitive. And everybody has these levels of abilities. It's just that we've been taught that we're small and we're not.
No. No, it is still, and I'm always learning, watching, listening, because I was standing in the kitchen. I knew we were going to have this conversation today, but I was just standing there a few hours ago and I went, I'm only 0.0001% physical.
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't know how to wrap my brain around it. I know it's scientific fact.
You don't need to, you just need to know it. Like, so there's a difference between the intellectualization and the gnosis. Like, I listen to myself sometimes and I'm like, how do I know that?
Hmm.
Because there's nothing I've learned,
Right.
but it's something I innately know.
Hmm. Yeah, I've experienced that too. I'll be working with a client and I'll go, where did that come from? I'll say
Yeah.
something and they'll go, wow, that was good. And I'm like, I don't know where that came. I do know where it came from, but uh,
Right.
yeah, but our brains are powerful. But if we open up to the energy source, it's there's no real limitation on what we can do and know.
Right.
Now, after my cat passed in November, and I think I told you about that,
Hmm.
he was my last of five in 37 years.
Wow.
And and then I started hearing him. I'm like, he's talking to me,
Yeah, he is.
but he's talking in human speak. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Is it really when they transition
mhm,
or when they're in like because I call in the higher self, it's so I can understand. Now, the language I use is based in the model of body talk. So then after that, after I go through the session, I translate it into summaries. Because if I talk about the amygdala, cortisol, adrenals, vagus nerve, kidneys, like that doesn't have anything, I didn't say anything about anxiety,
right.
but all of that is tied into anxiety.
Oh,
And if all of that, like that's just a package that comes in. Like here, we got to deal with this level of anxiety. And a lot of anxiety with the animals is because they're trying to manage the anxiety of their humans.
I've seen it. I have lived that.
Yeah.
And I was going through a brutal divorce and started in 2019 in the
Mm,
fall. And in
mm,
November, my other cat, he was very sensitive to me, and I didn't understand it at the time because I hadn't looked into this and understood it, but I knew that he and I were just real tight, really, really close. And one morning I brought him his treat and he wouldn't eat it, and he went into some kind of, it looked like a spasm or a heart attack or a seizure. And after a couple of, just not even 2 minutes, it was like a minute, he was just jerking around and then he passed. Um, oh, it was real sudden. And of course, it tore me up, tore me out of my frame. And and yet I knew because of the stress I was under, I can't even tell you how much stress you've probably been,
mm,
but the stress levels that I was dealing with were, I don't know how my human body endured what I went through, but
mhm.
he absorbed it. And I realized shortly thereafter in my writing I've read where I was very aware that he took on my energy and was trying to help mom get through it.
Yeah,
And he had, but his little body couldn't take it anymore. He had, yep, he just left.
yeah.
And then I still had a cat and a dog, and the dog had to go too the following year. So but the my cats have always been super sensitive to me. My last cat that passed, he was, when I would meditate or just what he would come sit on my chest. And
Mm,
sometimes he'd get right up in my face. Sometimes he'd sit behind me, but he always knew when to get really close, and he would love to sit on my chest. I have a lot of pictures with his back and my head. Like
mhm.
yep, he was very, very in tune with me. And I've heard him rattle. I've heard, I don't know which one's rattling around in here, but I'll hear noises and I go, nobody's here but me. Okay, which
Yeah.
one's,
Well, they are.
I like, which one are, okay, who did that?
Yeah.
Oh, another contact I'm going to be interviewing, not in a few weeks.
Lay down.
You'll have
Sorry.
to meet Donna, but, she, her dog passed not too long ago, and
Mhm.
the dog still comes back and pees on the floor.
Wow.
I know. It,
That's fascinating.
it
That's
is.
fascinating.
It really is. And
Yeah.
I've found three times I found whiskers in a place. I mean, they'll just appear. And they weren't there. Like one day
That's so
I had
fascinating.
mopped the floor, I'd swept and I'd mopped. And the next time I went into that room, there was a whisker. I'm like,
That's
I know.
That's so fascinating. Yeah, my soul dog is down in Bend. She's a Husky Malamute mix. And last fall, I was there for 3 months, staying with her while her humans were in Italy. And I started doing a heavy metal detox. Well, she took it on.
Oh,
And I realized that she went to the bathroom in the apartment. And I was like, honey, I do not give you permission to take that on from me. And then she got better.
oh,
And I was like, oh, so it's awareness. Like I have to be more aware of how I'm showing up
hmm,
with them and let them know, like, yes, you can like hang with me and meditate with me 100%, like feel my frequency. But if I'm doing some somatic work, it's not your job.
right.
Like
But
you,
they take it on. They
Yeah.
love us so much. And
I know.
I had a, when you said husky Malamute, I had a Malamute Basset Hound mix, if you can picture that.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
You
She
guys,
was,
that must be so
she had the body of a Basset Hound, but the big front legs of a
Oh
Mal,
my God, that's so
and
cute.
the skinny legs in the back, big Basset front, and the hair of the Malamute.
Wow.
Oh, she was, I'll send you a picture sometime.
Yeah, please do.
She was so cool. She lived to be 14, but because her
Wow.
back legs were weaker, her spine gave out.
Yeah.
And but she was also very sensitive to me.
Yeah.
And I had gone through yet another divorce. I was going through another one at that time. And
Mm.
I think she took on some of that, the back, carrying that weight. And I didn't know
Hmm.
anything about that back then. I mean, not
Right.
even close. So I can look back and go, okay. So here, all right, folks, y'all can think I'm crazy, but I got Sophia here to
Yeah, I'm
validate.
validating her.
Yeah, she's validating me. Anyway, so after my like cat Toby passed in November, after a few weeks, I was able to figure out, okay, I need to take all their ashes and put all the little containers together in a place where I can visit them
Mm.
and so I did. I made this little space on my dresser and I go in and speak to
I
them
love
all the time.
that.
Oh, yeah. So I put pictures up and the little
Mm.
ash containers and stuff and it really helps. And so I would tell anybody, whatever you got to do to, get through grieving or dealing with it. Yeah. And if you've got an animal with dealing with problems, I mean, Sophia's, gosh, that I just love this work. It's so, so fascinating. But
I love it too. It's just when I hear I had a Bernese dog, mountain dog come in. He was a breeder, like he was just bred used for breeding, and he had served his life, like he stopped producing as much semen for the puppies, so they were rehoming him. Well, this poor guy didn't know how to be a dog.
oh,
And he came, I met him and I gave him like a full back massage and he was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, this is me loving you." Because I love doing that with dogs. And so he came into my field one morning when I was waking up. He's like, "Hey, could you help me out?" I'm like, "Please let me help you. Like I will help. I mean, yes, this is my income, but if like a crocodile wants to get help or I'd love to work with zoos or aquariums. Like I want to work with any animal that is open because we're all energy, right?
mhm,
There is literally no separation except what we perceive.
right, right.
So like me helping any animal, like I love helping the humans and the animals. Like one of the technologies I have really helps with nervous system regulation.
Mm,
And like if the human starts taking it, the animal can take it too. And that helps both of them so that when I do a session, I can get deeper access and it can be integrated more easily because like if we have trauma, there's only so much we can get.
right, right. Yeah, and animals it is fascinating to me how they absorb our energies and in order to help us. But like you said, it can harm them, like I experienced. And because their little bodies, even if they're a big body, like a horse, they
Yeah.
still I love horses. I
Me
don't
too.
have one anymore. I used to. But I've interviewed multiple people that have horse ranches and
Mhm.
not ministries, but nonprofits to help people heal with
Yeah.
horses. But they also come in and have people like yourself that work with the horses because
Yeah.
you've got somebody that's been through a war or domestic violence, and I experienced that. Then the horse knows how to take it on, but then the horse has to do something with it.
Hmm.
So, do you have any experiences of horses that have had to take on human trauma?
I I don't know if it had received human trauma, but I remember doing a session down in Weed. A farrier had contacted me and he said, maybe you could work on my horse. And I had never been, I mean, I love horses, but like I'd never done a session with a horse before. So I put my hand on her.
Mm,
I heard stuff flying through my consciousness so fast I don't know what it was. My hand was hot.
Oh.
And about, I don't know, 5, 7 minutes later, my hand cooled down and I took it off and she did a full body shake. And I
Mm.
was like, whoa, what is that? And he said, oh, that was a fly. I'm like, that was not a fly. A fly is a twitch. I know how horses flick flies. Like that was not, that was like a full body. Okay, I'm integrating this. And I was like, that's so cool because she felt it. And I was like, okay, I want to work on horses more because like me just having that experience of, because they're so open to energy healing. I received an energy session from a horse and that just broke my heart open because like she just came over, she put her head on my, she put her muzzle on my head and she was like moving around me and getting her nose caught up in my hair and I was just like feeling what she was gifting me and I was like, wow, what a gift. Because
Yeah,
it's nonverbal, but you can, if you're attuned to it, you will, well, even if you're not, you're going to feel it because a horse being present with you it's a magical gift.
it is. Oh, I don't, although I do have a horse story and I wish I'd have been more in tuned because it's one of the injuries that I sustained.
Mhm.
I'd been riding her for 4 hours or so, and we came up to a road where one road T-boned into the other, and the barn was right and everything else was left. Well, I wanted to keep riding. And Starlight, she's like, no, I don't think so. But I kick her into a full speed gallop, going down the went to the left. So we're running along at just a few yards. She'd had enough. And Sophia, she hit the brakes. She did a high O silver. Everybody know what high O silver is? She did a full on rear up, flipped me, and she did a 180 and a rear up at the same time. It was a perfect high O silver. And I landed on the ground about 6 inches from the asphalt on my left hip. And
Oh,
and I'm holding the reins and the halter. Everything broke. Um, and just a few feet in front of me was the saddle and then the blanket. So, yep, this kind family saw me laying by the side of the road and picked me up and took all my stuff and took me back to the barn. And I didn't have nice words to say to her, but she was, I mean, she's like, you should have listened to me, lady. Did not want to ride anymore. But now understanding if we really listen to our intuition, and I'm sure I had the thought of, don't do it. I'm sure
hmm
I did.
hmm.
But I've written about it, so now I got a horse story. So,
I love that. Yeah, they are so like in tune with. I met a horse from Nez Perce country, and
mm,
he was like 17 hands. He's gorgeous. Like, and the woman that had him was like, "Oh, just ride him." I'm like, "Uh-uh, uh-uh." I mean, he was royalty. I could feel it in him. I'm like, I just need to be present with this guy. I don't want to ride him. I want to just honor his lineage and honor who he is because I feel it. And he was like, wow, nobody's ever treated me like this. I'm like, I can't not because I know who you are. And she was mad at me. She was like, why aren't you just like guiding him? I'm like, I, okay, fine. I couldn't explain it because she was like, no, he's just a horse. I'm like, no, I see, because the slope is different on their noses, and so I knew who he was, and I'm like, he's magic. He's
oh,
not just a horse. He's like royal lineage from like another. I can't even explain it. It felt like a different dimension, and he was like, "Oh, you're the first one that's noticed me." I'm like, I can't not.
wow.
Yeah, it was really powerful, and so I only met him once because I was just like, she wanted me to ride him. I'm like, I can't. Because I just honored him too much. And it's not like he's better than me. It was just like that reverence for another being.
Yeah, I believe it. I love all animals. Well, I'm not into, alligators and slimy things, but I respect them, but
Yeah.
I don't, and I've had friends that had those bearded dragons, and I was like, okay, look, I'll feed your dog, but we're gonna forget about, I'm not petting a dragon. I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
I hear you. Like it's more like a how can we help them like in my perception is like 'cause, we all have reptilian brains but theirs is bigger than ours, so like what can we do to actually help them evolve to who they are supposed to be as opposed to that ancient being that they are. And it's just a curiosity because I'm innately curious. It's like what would it be like if like there was an evolved crocodile that
Oh, I
what
know.
would that look like?
Hey, that's funny. I just watched all three Crocodile Dundees. But he really, that movie displays his sensitivity, you know,
Yeah,
to animals, and
yeah.
it really is just an amazing subject to explore. Do you have any fun stories from when you were younger and just starting to or recognize your gift?
Well, okay, my first full memory is when I was little. I grew up in Connecticut and we had a cabin on a little lake. And my parents brought me down, and I'm 3. And I was born with a dislocated hip, so I was in a body cast for a year and a half. So I get out of it and I'm running, right? Because like that's just like I'm done. We're not gonna keep me in a so I'm toddling down and a gaggle of Canadian geese comes up on the beach. I walk into that gaggle of geese and I start petting them. They're wild geese. I'm 3. I don't know this, right? Because I'm 3 and they're like surrounding me and protecting me from my parents.
Mm.
And I'm just loving on them and they know who I am, a little 3-year-old just petting the geese. My parents are freaking out because like geese can be pretty mean and they're like the same height as me. So like we're just like all communing and they know I'm innocent. They know who I am. I don't know who I am. And I finally get back out to my parents and they're like, "Don't you ever do that again." I'm like, "But why? They're my friends." And I've always seen animals as my friend. My cat Toby, my high school cat, he every day I come home from school and he'd just lay on my chest and purr to regulate me. And him and Joseph Campbell are why I'm still alive because like Joseph Campbell made me remember like, oh, this bullshit in high school doesn't merely mean anything, but like the hero's journey, yeah, that makes sense to me. And like the power of myth, that makes sense to me. But yeah, Toby, with my first semester of college, I came home. He greeted me at the door, and I picked him up and I put him on my chest. He started purring. Mom had big couches, and I laid down on the couch, and he purred, and I just conked out for 3 hours straight with
Wow.
him purring the entire time with my hands like this, and just like, ah, Toby, regulation. Thank you, Toby, Toby, Toby. And like, it was just he was my best friend.
Oh, that's
And animals have always connected with me more deeply than most humans.
now, how long ago did you start this work?
6 years ago, well, I mean, like I've always talked to them, but like 6 years ago officially, like I retired as an historian because of that logging
Yeah.
thing. I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm not doing fun research. I'm doing like horrible, like destructive things like EPA super fun stuff. It's like awful. I'm like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. Um, and I'd been receiving body talk sessions and my former mentor said, "Hey, I think this would be a good modality for you to study because um, you really need to work with animals." And she knew that before I did. And so the second class I took was, 2020, everything shuts down, everything's on Zoom. The woman that was teaching the class is called Body Talk Access for Animals. It's just a tapping technique. I'm in Oregon. She's in Ireland. The dog I'm working on is in Ireland, but it's like 12 squares, and the guy who had the dog couldn't call into Zoom. So she's holding the phone up like this, but there's 12 squares and she didn't expand her square. So I'm like look trying to find out what I'm tapping for. And I connect with the puppy, like energetically I connect, and the puppy notices me. And I start this tapping, and the puppy goes from bouncing up and down to falling asleep. And I'm like, how is this possible? I'm in Oregon, dog's in Ireland. She felt my energy and she fell asleep from this tapping technique. So I took 3 more classes because I was like, I got to figure this out. I don't need to figure anything out. Like my left brain loves figuring stuff out. My right brain's like, just do it, honey. You're fine. So the hardest part is like getting my left brain on board, the former academic, um, into the gnosis of the fact that I am an energetic being and the animals love working with me. So
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah,
Okay, another question.
sure.
if you're like you were talking to a puppy in Ireland or another country, do they speak with the accent that the humans do?
No, because they're just it translates into a frequency that I like. So the I can't show it because like it blurs out, but Body Talk has a chart. And so they'll guide me through the chart and they'll tell me what exactly is going on in the language that I know.
Hmm. Okay.
Because again, it's their higher self knowing that I speak English really well. My French is okay. Everything Chinese and Russian are horrible. So like they just know that like I this is the language I can hear from.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
So that's how they communicate. And since it's, um, we're not tied by anything when we're in the energy field, that's how they communicate with me. So I'm really grateful for that because I don't want to learn other. It's not that I don't want to learn other language. It's just that it's not in my realm right now.
Oh no, that and then there's how many languages in the world that would be a
Yeah.
little overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like, look, dog, can you speak English, please?
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
understand.
I just say I call on my higher self and their higher self and I ask for the highest healing to be facilitated through me for them.
Yeah.
So that just eliminates any confusion because they know what the intention is. And that's for humans as well. It's just that I know through my own experience, it took many more body talk sessions than it does with an animal.
Yeah, I can believe that because a
Yeah.
human being, stubbornness is probably
Man. Well, I even with me, like this morning, just I had this erratic noise. It woke me up. I was in full on panic attack, and I'm like, "Oh, hi, panic attack. Hi, I thought I didn't have them anymore. Oh, this is just a deeper level. Okay, cool. I have panic attacks now, so I'm just like going to regulate myself through that."
yeah, yeah, that's good. And
Yeah.
we have to look at what's happening in our bodies and understand that energetically there is something going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But we're in such a fast-paced, high digital, crazy society. Uh, it's just, it's insane. And we were talking beforehand about the resonance around the earth and the Schumann resonance and stuff. That's something I don't really understand at a scientific level, but I like listening to the people that do. And so I can get a little more, and then I go, yep, that resonates. That's what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, we don't need to know everything. Jackie, our mutual friends, like, hey, I want to go through your astrology with you. I'm like, hey, perfect. I don't really know much. And I don't need to because I don't have to be the expert in everything. And that's a gift that like of awareness. Oh, I don't have to be the expert in everything.
No, no, we really don't. And we need each other too. So,
Yep.
yep,
Yeah.
that's great. Any more fun stories before we wrap it up?
Yeah. Let me tune in and see who wants to be talked about. Okay, this is a piece of awareness. Okay, this one's coming in. It was a Chihuahua and her human did ghost tours.
Oh,
He didn't clear his energy when he was done. Like he's like, oh, I'm doing ghost tours, but didn't know that entities attach themselves to that. That's like a whole other layer of like awareness that I'm still trying to wrap my head around, but I know it's there, like because I can feel it. So this poor little Chihuahua that he had adopted had developed cancer right here
oh,
because she couldn't speak and tell him that he needed to sage himself.
mm,
Basic. So he reaches out to me as like a last resort. I'm like, please don't. I don't want to be Obi-Wan. I don't really want to be Obi-Wan. But sometimes I am, and it's like, oh, this feels like a lot of pressure on me. I don't really. And that's my ego, right? That's my ego. So we do the session, and she tells me she got cancer because she's mad that he doesn't have the awareness to know what he's doing,
mm,
right? Because ghost tours are a thing. Like that's like you go into different energy fields, and if you're not aware of cleansing your own energy field, you can bring stuff back in the house. And so she was trying to transmute that,
oh,
and she got cancer from it. And so I say this in the session, and he's like, "Yeah, that's just weird." I'm like, "No, it's your lack of awareness that's weird. Like you think you can just go off and do this." and there's no consequences, but your dog is killing herself to keep you clear. And he was like kind of annoyed at me. I'm like, I'm just trying to bring awareness, man. Like, I'm not judging you. I am informing you of your lack of awareness on how your behavior is impacting the health of your dog.
Mm,
And that's like a big thing that I want to bring into awareness is like, we're dysregulated or animals are going to be dysregulated. How do we bring both of us into harmony, especially in this time of consciousness where we're like, energy is changing, governments are toppling, finances are toppling, we're getting poisoned in food and air and water. Like,
yeah,
how do we keep ourselves as sovereign as possible?
yeah.
And what are all the tools we can use to do that with? So, yeah.
That's wild. I interviewed a gentleman back east who who does he doesn't do the tours, but he's an investigator. Um uh an investigator of ghosts and um I forgot the word now, but otherworldly things and he shared on his podcast some great experiences. So I might have to connect you with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure
Yeah,
he
I'd be happy to because like it is awareness because like entities do attach themselves to us. Like you see any like alcohol is a spirit for a reason, right? Because you're lowering your frequency and you allow yourself to
Mhm.
I've seen it. I've seen people get taken over by entities. I'm like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy because like my left brain's like, nah, that's not real, right? Because like we don't want to believe it's true, but it is true. And it's like, okay, so yeah, we just have to be like energetically aware of ourselves
Yes, we do.
and be accountable and devoted to keeping ourselves clean and clear.
Yeah, exactly. So before we part, we're going to wrap up. What parting words of wisdom or advice or anything you want to share as we wrap up? I give all my guests the opportunity.
Hmm. Love yourself enough to to unwind all of the programs and beliefs that you have that think you're something that you're not.
Mm, excellent, excellent. And don't be afraid of things you can't see because there's a lot of that. So thank you, Sophia. This has been a
Mm.
blast. I mean, the
You're so
stories
welcome.
are great and we're going to have all of her details at the end of the broadcast, how to contact her for you and your pets or animals that you might want to see get some help. She's here for you. And who knows whatever next time we talk, what another story might come out. So your story might be on air.
Thank you so much for having me, Janice. It's such a joy to finally connect with you.
Yeah, it is. It really is. We've talked, but now we made progress here. But thank you
Yeah.
so much. And thank you to the audience of my Courage, Confidence, and Connections podcast. Janice Debo, we're signing off and we'll see you in the next episode.